Hey everybody, and welcome back to another deep dive live stream from the Shadowlands beta. Today we're going to be taking a look by popular, I guess, community demand, Mage, and my choice, / also community demand, Paladin. I'm particularly excited about this one right now. Paladin is the forerunner for main class for me to play in Shadowlands, so I'm pretty pumped. I've kind of dived pretty deep into Protection Paladin already, doing about 15 floors, I think, of Torghast with the Protection Paladin. Had a lot of fun with that, but I'm interested to see some of the other Covenant abilities and stuff for that, and, you know, Mage is in here too. We're going to do Mage first, and then we're going to loop around to Protection, well, all the Paladins. I have tried all the specializations for both these classes a little bit in beta, but we're going to kind of dive a little bit deeper, check out all the Covenant abilities as well as the talents and changes. And we're going to be referring to the Wowhead class guide change article thingy-majiggies here as we go along, and I'll be linking those in the chat so that you can follow along and have those for reference if you need them. So, with all that being said, we're going to jump in to Mage. So, I think make a new Mage. We're going to make something random. I've got the sound turned off, but it will come. You know, yeah, I like this. It works for me. It's Mage. Oh, someone has the name. Okay. All right, let's get logged in. We'll turn the sound on here. We're going to pull up the Mage class changes, throwing that into the chat here for you guys. There we go. Murphy says, second. It looks like you're first to me. I don't know. Maybe you just wanted to say second. Somebody else jump in and say first. All right. Here we go. Sound's back on. We're going to go ahead and turn off Opie for right now. I haven't been using this at all. I'll use it when I'm, you know, getting a little more involved in the classes as a whole. Look, I don't want to be this human. I didn't even customize that. I want to be Worgen. Come on. Come on, I'm Worgen for a reason here. Whoa. Nice. I don't know how I feel about this hat that I have. Second watcher, first writer. I don't know. I might have been the first watcher because I always pop open the stream and throw a like on it because I obviously like it. I'm doing it. I better like it. So it might have been me. All right. So in general, I think Mage is relatively the same for Shadowlands. This is kind of a theme right now that, like, at their base level, most of the classes are very similar to their BFA counterparts. And it's the additional layers that are coming in Shadowlands that are going to make them feel a little bit different and change things up a little bit. But we're going to go through, because we are getting occasional new abilities, we're getting new talents. Also, one of the big things in Shadowlands is that the classes are getting abilities that are available to all the specializations, so that's something to look at too. And we have the Covenant abilities as well. So we're going to be checking out all that stuff here, and it looks like we are my favorite spec, Fire. So we'll probably go ahead and check out Fire first. But before we jump into any of those, we're going to take a look at what the Covenant abilities are. Let's see. Haroon says first. Nice. Way to claim it. You can blame me. That's totally fine. All right, so let's check out over here in the Kyrian. All right, so class ability here for Kyrian Mage is going to be Radiant Spark. It's a 1.4 second cast with a 30-second cooldown. It says conjure a Radiant Spark that causes About 750 arcane damage instantly and an additional 303 damage over 8 seconds. Now, for reference here, with the level squish in Shadowlands, anything below about 500 seems to be kind of like a weak hit. Anything 500 to about 1,000 is like an average hit. And then 1,000 to 1,500 hits decently hard. And there's some abilities that hit way harder than that, but they're usually tied to a long cooldown. So we've got a fairly average hit, followed by a pretty small damage over time here. It says the target takes 10% increased damage from your direct damage spells, stacking each time they are struck. This effect ends after 4 spells. So you get a little bit of a hit, you get a little bit of damage over time while that buff or debuff is active. And then the next 4 spells that you use against the target are going to do increasing damage, 10, 20, 30, and 40%. So I'm guessing on fire, we're trying to maybe try to line this up with a nice like pyroblast on the 4th cast or something like that, depending on how we can pull all that off. It sounds kind of boring, but it might actually be pretty cool. Over on the Night Fae, we have Shifting Power. So this is channeled and has a 45-second cooldown. So we got some pretty short cooldowns for Mage here so far. Draw power from the ground beneath, dealing 2,300 nature damage over 5.6 seconds to enemies within 15 yards. So that is a big chunk of damage, and it's to all enemies within 15 yards. So anything that is closer than it should be to you as a mage, but still. While channeling, your mage ability cooldowns are reduced by 3 seconds every 1.4 seconds. So we get, what, 4 ticks of that, approximately, for 12-second cooldown reduction. This seems... I actually, like, just from playing mage out in open world content, I feel like I would love to have this for when too many enemies get pulled over or I'm overwhelmed, just because I want to pop this and deal that huge chunk of damage to everything. And then, the cooldown reduction, that could end up saving me too, because, maybe I could Ice Block or Frost Nova or something like that at the end of it. So that sounds pretty interesting. It's also on a pretty low cooldown. We're going to check and see if we can read off the Venthyr Covenant ability. Okay, we can read it off. I'll check again. It's a different day. I haven't seen any patches, but so far I haven't been able to test the Venthyr Covenant abilities just by going to the zone, but we'll pop over there and see if we can do it. In this case, we do get to read it though, so we can at least talk about it a little bit. So we got a longer cooldown here. This is Mirrors of Torment. It's got a 1.5 minute cooldown, a 1.4 second cast. It says conjure 3 mirrors to torment the enemy for 20 seconds. That's a pretty long time. Whenever the target casts a spell or ability, a mirror is consumed to inflict 723 shadow damage, and their movement and cast speed are slowed by 15%. So 20 seconds is a long time, but if they use 3 spells or abilities in rapid succession, it's actually just going to consume the 3 mirrors anyway. So I think the 20 seconds is there, as kind of like a safety to like make sure you get the 3 mirrors off, but it might actually take a lot less than 20 seconds for this ability to complete what it's trying to do. It says the final mirror will instead inflict 1,900 shadow damage to the enemy, rooting and silencing them for 4 seconds. Okay, so the first 2 mirrors, we get about an average hit of damage, plus a reduction in movement and cast speed. And then the final mirror, we get a nice big chunky hit of damage, plus a root and a silence. Seems good for PvP. I actually kind of wonder if this, like, how relevant this is for, like, boss fights in dungeons and stuff, because I don't know if the roots or silences will necessarily apply, depending on what boss you're fighting against. But, I mean, you're still looking at about 3,500. Yeah, about 3,500 shadow damage. And I mean, bosses do use abilities quite a bit, so you'll probably get those 3 mirrors off pretty fast as well. All right, and then finally we have the Necrolord Covenant ability. So this one is going to be Deathborn. 3-minute cooldowns, a super long cooldown here. 1.4 second cast. Transform into a powerful skeletal mage for 20 seconds. Already like it. I have been finding that I actually like thematically and stuff a lot of the Necrolord abilities. Okay, so we transform into a powerful skeletal mage for 20 seconds. While in the form of a skeletal mage, your Frostbolt, Fireball, and Arcane Blast hit up to 2 enemies near your target, and your spell damage is increased by 10%. Well, that's not as elaborate as I had hoped that it would be, but, I mean, I'll take a Fireball that hits 3 things, plus a 10% spell damage increase. That's not insignificant. And 20 seconds is a pretty good amount of time. 3-minute cooldown is fairly long. But I wonder what the mage looks like. We're gonna find out. We're gonna check things out and test those abilities. So the first thing I'm gonna do while we are getting a move on here is I'm gonna pop over to oh, what's it called? Why can't I think of it? Rivendreth. I'm going to pop over to Rivendreth and just check and see if we're able to test out those Venthyr Covenant abilities yet. There's a pretty good chance we won't be able to, and then that way I can just hearth back right away, and we can... I think we'll probably go over to Bastion first. The reason for that is Bastion has a teleport back to here, so... Actually... I could have gone to the Portal Master, possibly, and learned the portal. Maybe there is a portal. Maybe there's not. I know by default the mages don't start off with a whole lot of portals in the beta. Yeah, we've got Stormwind, Ironforge, and Darnassus, but I could portal to Stormwind and then go to Oribos. So yeah, it doesn't really matter where we go. Okay, so it does look like we don't have access by default to the Venthyr Covenant ability right this second. So we will just go back and we'll go to a different zone. Now, I am thinking a couple of things here. I don't know if I choose the Venthyr Covenant, if I'll be able to use the ability from there. But I'm going to test that out in a separate stream after I'm done with the class deep dive. So I'm going to jump in and just join the Venthyr Covenant on a bunch of characters and see if that'll give me access to their abilities. And if it does, then I'll put those in a showcase video to kind of make up for not being able to check them out on these deep dives. Otherwise, there just needs to be like a bug fix or something, or they're, not yet implemented into the beta. So, we will go ahead and go over to Bastion, and we'll check out that ability first. Alright, so we're going to go to Bastion, and we're going to check out the Covenant ability there. And we're also going to be looking at the Fire Specialization, which is pretty much the same as it is in BFA. We have some slight modifications in the way that ignites are spread. And let's see, we're going to jump in here to the Wowhead post. Yeah, so our Mastery Ignite was reworked. We've got a couple of tweaks to some abilities. And for the most part, it looks like our talents are pretty much the same. So while we're headed over, let's talk about the abilities that are available to all mages now. For that, I'm going to check in on chat. I see you guys are talking. Don't want to ignore you. Wow, that's a lot of chat, you guys. I appreciate that. Awesome. Cass, hello. How's it going? Is it still your... Yesterday was your birthday. Trying to remember. I was like, I didn't stream yesterday. Man, that sound effect drives me nuts. Please change it, Blizzard. Have you looked into legendaries? Looks like covenant abilities isn't a major factor. Legendaries will be a big thing. You are correct. Like, my general opinion right now is that covenant abilities, while interesting in some respects and definitely valuable in the sense that they give you another button to push in your rotation, they don't seem as big of a deal as you might think. Now, that doesn't take away the like drama that's there about, you know, not being able to switch covenants and pick the ability that's the best. Like, that stuff aside, like, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Even if the abilities don't have a lot of impact, they still are going to be compared against each other, right? So it might be, oh, the best, you know, covenant ability for mage is the Venthyr one. Even though that Venthyr ability doesn't drastically change the way that you play mage, that whole conversation is still there. So I agree, in the sense that the covenant abilities don't look like they're going to be, like, they don't look like they're going to have a huge impact. They definitely aren't as crazy as they could have been. As far as legendaries go, I am actually holding off a little bit for them to kind of tweak and do some more stuff with legendaries, and then I'm just going to go through and check out all the different legendaries on the classes in a dedicated legendary stream. So for these deep dives, I'm mainly trying to focus on what's changed between BFA to Shadowlands, and kind of what are some of the new combos, new abilities, what's your rotation going to look like, you know, when you're out here just kind of questing and that kind of stuff. I say deep dives, and it's really just deep dives in the sense that I'm spending a lot of time with each class to look at them a little bit more in depth. Murphy says, yeah, I hope so too. I am with Blizz on this one. Hope it would be a big choice to pick a covenant. Yeah, that is a huge, huge discussion amongst the community at the moment. Or at least, like they say, easy to leave one and hard to get back. Good for arcane. Might play arcane mage. Arcane, yeah, arcane mage is, I don't know. I've always... Mage is one of the few classes where I really don't flip-flop back and forth between specs. I'm like, fire all the way, definitely. Arcane is painfully boring in BFA. I don't know that it's all that much better right now. Aren't they supposed to strip the beta and kind of do a do-over, making beta players actually level from 50 to 60 as well? There are character copies coming. I don't know if they're going to be the only things that you're going to be able to do. So they definitely 100% have said that they want to enable character copies where you're going to copy your currently existing character over to the test servers and then play as if you had like the expansion started and you were just getting ready to go. I don't know if the intention is for that to be the only way that you can play the beta. I really hope that's not the case, because I want to use these pre-mades to make my introduction guides. So we'll have to see. Yeah, they definitely said that. Conduits and soulbinds, that is another thing to consider for sure. And that's something that I'm also going to take a look at a little bit more closely. Once I get done with these deep dive videos, then I'm going to start like committing characters into covenants and getting involved in that and checking out the soulbinds and stuff as well. Loken, hey, thanks for tuning in. Nice to see you. Mike Bennett, what's your favorite thing about the covenant system? I'll get to that in just a minute. I promise you I'll answer that question. Did I miss anyone else? I think we're good. Okay, so I'll answer your question in a bit, Mike. I want to go ahead and get started in the little overview here for Mage. So on the Mage side of things, we have a bunch of abilities that are now available across all the different specializations. So we have Frostbolt available across the board, which is really nice. I think this is going to be really good, especially for mages who are leveling and out there in world content. It's just always nice to start things off with like a Frostbolt and be able to slow down the enemy. Even if you are, you know, fire spec'd, it's still nice to be able to do that. So Frostbolt is coming across for all mages. What else? So we have Arcane Intellect still. We've got Alter Time now. This is a instant 1-minute cooldown. Alters the fabric of time, returning you to your current location and health when cast a second time or after 10 seconds. The effect is negated by long distance or death. We've got Frost Nova available across the board. Arcane Explosion is also available for all specializations as well. So lots of good stuff here. I like having Frost Nova just across the board for that little CC. Frostbolt I already mentioned. And Arcane Explosion, oh, this is going to make running Legacy content so much better to have this available just across the board. All right, getting into Fire. So in Fire, we basically have all the same stuff. So we have Blazing Barrier. This is our little fire shield, right? We've still got Combustion for our big, like, offensive pump spell. Got Dragon's Breath with the CC cone effect. Fire Blast for our, like, instant cast, always crit sort of hot streak enabler. Fireball is our baseline spell. Flame Strike for AoE. Pyroblast as our big, chunky, single target spell that we can also activate along with Flame Strike during hot streak. And we still have Scorch as kind of our on-the-move ability that we can cast. Now, the big difference here is we have Phoenix Flames baseline. So this was a Legion ability that was then turned into a talent for BFA and has now been moved into a position as a baseline ability that you have without having to choose a talent. Which in itself is just awesome because I like Phoenix Flames. That was a talent sometimes I would pick just because I like the ability. So Phoenix Flames hurls a Phoenix that deals 723 fire damage to the target and reduced damage to other nearby enemies. And it says it always deals a critical strike. Just want to make sure that's not something that's coming from a talent. It is. It's coming from... No, okay. Nope. It just always deals a critical strike, apparently. It's got 3 charges, and this ties into the modifications to our mastery. So now our mastery, which is Ignite, says your target burns for an additional 9.7%, or whatever your mastery has it at, over 9 seconds, of the total direct damage caused by your Fireball, Fire Blast, Scorch, Pyroblast, Phoenix Flames, and Flame Strike. If this effect is reapplied, any remaining damage will be added to the new Ignite. Here's the major change. Phoenix Flames causes your Ignites to spread to 8 nearby enemies. So now, by default, your Ignites will not spread to other targets. Okay, they wanted to give you control over spreading your Ignites, and they tried some things with this that they ultimately ended up not liking. And so what they did is, since Phoenix Flames is now baseline, they tied it into this mastery. So now, if you want your Ignites to spread, you're going to use Phoenix Flames to actually perform that functionality. So I don't want to mess with that guy's stuff. I could help him, but I don't know if he's testing things or what. Man, we're a little busy over here, huh? This is where I normally go for testing, but we might have to find a different spot. It's like we have quite a few people over here this time. So I wanted to get a couple... Here we go. We've got a couple targets here. So if we use our Fireball, right? This guy is going to be ignited. This guy is not. But if we cast our Phoenix Flames, now this guy is going to have the Ignite as well. So they're both ignited. All right? So that is how you spread your Ignites. So that is the biggest change to Fire, honestly, is the Addition of Phoenix Flames baseline and the mastery that now allows you to manually decide when to spread your ignites to other targets. I think this is a very nice change. Like I said, I like having Phoenix Flames baseline, and I like controlling spreading my ignites because I know sometimes my ignites have pulled enemies that I did not want to pull, or messed up a polymorph that I had put in place or something like that. So it's going to be nice to be able to control that ourselves. Let's see. Murphy says, in my opinion, they should make a frost explosion and fire explosion for the other two specs. Spec fantasy is underrated. Give us the Phoenix orbs too. Can you report that they are missing as a bug? The Phoenix orbs? I'm not sure. What do you mean? Okay, so overall, the rotation for fire is pretty much the same. We've got the addition of Phoenix Flames for when you want to spread ignites, but we've got a couple of interesting things here. So Phoenix Flames going baseline does a couple of things for us. So first of all, we've got our Fireball opener, right? We still have our Fire Blast, which is always going to crit, but now we have Phoenix Flames, which will also always crit. So this gives us two different guaranteed critical abilities that we can use in order to enable Hot Streak. So we have a little bit more leeway with buttons that we can push to keep the Hot Streak chain going. When we get a Hot Streak, we're going to use it to cast Pyroblast against like a single target or a priority target, or we can use it to cast Flame Strike against multiple enemies. We also have our other just kind of standard abilities that we normally use. And, you know, basically our rotation, that's what we're doing. We're trying to get Hot Streak, and then we're throwing that into a Pyroblast or a Flame Strike. And that hasn't really changed too much. Like I said, it is made a little bit better by the fact that we have Phoenix Flames and we have Fire Blast. So this does a couple of things. The main thing is that it frees us up to not have to take the Fire Blast talent. If I can remember which, yeah, this one here. So now I feel like Flame On feels a little less mandatory. Not that it kind of did feel mandatory, especially for open world content, because you wanted to chain Hot Streak so much. So this says reduces the cooldown of Fire Blast by 2 seconds, which is good either way, and increases the maximum number of charges by 1. So what this did was give you 3 charges of Fire Blast so that you could enable Hot Streaks very regularly. But now, even if you don't take this talent, yes, it's going to take a little bit longer for your recharges on your Flame Blast or Fire Blast, and you're only going to have 2, but you got 3 charges of Phoenix Flames that you could use as well. The caveat there being that if you don't want to spread your ignites, then you're probably not going to cast Phoenix Flames. But I feel like this is still a good talent, but it also does change things and make it so that it doesn't feel super bad to not take this. So also in this talent row, we have a coming soon ability, because this is where Phoenix Flames normally would go. So we're waiting on a replacement talent for this. Okay, so I'm looking over just to make sure what other things we have going on here, what other changes, specifically to fire. So Living Bomb is one of our talents, and it says we got some added reduced damage here as well. Okay, so this says deals an additional 135 fire damage to the target and reduced damage to all other enemies within 10 yards. Okay, not too big of a deal there. And then they made some changes to Shimmer, but I think they changed them back. They had made Shimmer a single charge ability or single use. They bumped it back up to 2 charges. So for fire, we have, let's see, Blast Wave. So the Blast Wave talent was changed, so it does a little more damage than it did in BFA, and has an increased slow duration. The Pyroclasm bonus to Pyroblast was increased on the talents. Yeah, so just some minor talent tweaks. So aside from the fact that we have a missing talent here, for the most part, the talents are the same with minor tweaks. So you're looking at the same kind of options that you have currently in BFA. So there's not a whole lot of changes to fire, right? We've got the Ignite changed, Phoenix Flames baseline, and we have a new unknown talent coming soon. But for the most part, you're looking at the same stuff, aside from the fact that now you have access to Arcane Explosion, Frostbolt, and Frost Nova as well. So let's check out this Covenant ability while we're here. So this is the Radiant Spark that causes damage instantly. And then we've got the additional damage over 8 seconds. And then we're going to deal 10% increased damage from our direct damage spells. So what I want to do is I want to go get one of these fatter, chunkier guys over here that has a little bit more health. And we're just going to try to rip into this dude and see if we can get like... I think we're going to kill him too fast, but we're going to try. Let's start off with our Covenant ability. So we hit him. Well, let's do some scorches. So that's 1, 2. Let's go Fire Blast, Fire Blast, big chunky Pyroblast. That wasn't as like impressive as I was hoping it would be. So we can we'll try it again. So the idea here is we put this onto something, and it's already off cooldown, so that's great. This is definitely something that can be used like every fight. So we do a little bit of damage and then additional, and then the target's going to take 10% increased damage from your direct damage spells, stacking each time they are struck. It ends after 4 spells. So what I wanted to do, let's see, there's another guy over here. Let's go see if we can't get him. Okay, so let's hit him with this, right? And then we're gonna fireball, which is gonna put 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the 4th spell consumes the buff. Still doesn't have as much of a... Did it work? I don't know if it worked. Let's see if we can test this again. Hey, dude. Boom. Okay, so our Pyroblast does... Oh, we have Incanter's Flow. I kind of want to get rid of that so that we can properly test this. So let's go ahead. Let's grab Shimmer. Let's get rid of Incanter's Flow. I don't really care. We'll just take any of these. Okay. That should be like good enough. Yeah, that's good enough for testing purposes. Okay. Let's see. We've got 6,000. I don't know if 6,000 is enough health. Oh, here we go. Here's another guy. Okay, so our Pyroblast does 1,195 fire damage. So I want to see if this actually pumps it the way that it should. So Spark's on. Hit him with a Fireball. Let's do a Scorch. That's 2. Huh. Did it just go away super quickly? Maybe I didn't cast fast enough. Yeah, I think I just didn't cast fast enough. So let's use some instant cast stuff on the next guy. Oh, there's a little boss dude down here. We can fight. I guess we're gonna have to kill this thing first. Oh, no. Okay, so we want to cast this and then do like, let's do Fire Blast, Fire Blast, Fire Blast, I guess. And then just use our Pyroblast. So the damage should be increased by like 30 or 40%, I think. All right, so here we go. Radiant Spark. It's on there. 1, 2, 3, 1500. Okay, so it did work. It just doesn't feel as... I don't know, it doesn't feel that awesome. Now, maybe my particular like combo there is like not the best combo, but I just wanted to kind of try that out baseline with the Pyroblast. So it did work. 40%. It still feels, you know, feels like it should have been more. These guys don't have, well, they've got some health. So we'll try this again. I want to see if I can read the buff this time. It's a Radiant Spark. Okay, deals 10%, 20%, and dead. Okay, so it's 30%, I think, by the time you get it built up all the way. Alright, so now we're at 1255 because I just put on Arcane Intellect. So let's give this another shot. Let's wait for our Fire Blast to come back around. Alright. So 10, 20, 30. Okay, so it's 30% increased damage. And I mean, you get the initial hit, then 10%, 20%, 30% on successive abilities. So it's not just 30% to your fourth ability. You are getting a boost throughout that process, but it doesn't feel exciting. I guess exciting is the word I'm looking for. Like it doesn't feel exciting. It's like, oh, here we go. Those are some chunky crits though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't dislike this ability, but it's definitely not exciting, right? Oh, the floating orbs around you from Legion artifact. Gotcha. Lost, how's it going? Waha says, hello, I'm back again from my mage preview. Love what you do, by the way. Awesome, thank you. Rick the Stick, is PTR the same thing as the beta? No, it is not. Trust me, I looked a bunch. I was like, oh, is it PTR? Is it PTR? No, it'll say Shadowlands beta specifically in the version dropdown if you have access to the beta. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this Radiant Spark ability? I find it to be, like I said, not awful, but also not overly interesting. All right, so we are going to portal ourselves over to Stormwind, and then that'll let us teleport back into Oribos, and we'll go to a different zone to check out a different spec and a different Covenant ability. You guys don't forget to like the stream if you're enjoying it, if you're having a good time checking out these classes here with me. Helps YouTube, I guess. Do we want to help YouTube? I don't know if we want to. It helps me. It helps YouTube help me. I don't know if I care about helping YouTube. Am I supposed to say that? Getting an email tomorrow. You've been demonetized. All right, so next we will check out. I think we'll do Frost next. So let's switch over to Frost. Murphy says number crunches. Number crunchers might like the ability. I agree. I think that ability definitely has potential if you can line up the correct sequence of spells that you're going to get those bonuses on. Like, it definitely is like a mathy min-maxer style ability. And I think it has potential. But for me, on the level of like, I want to see sparkly, shiny, cool stuff happen when I push a button because I'm a child. You know, it's just kind of whatever for me. So let's go. We're going to check out Frost over with... let's go do the crazy skeleton mage over in Maldraxxus. And then when we do arcane, we'll go over and check out the Ardenweld ability. All right. Okay, so for Frost, we've got access to the same overall mage spells that we talked about before. And then as far as changes go, not really a lot. Frost is pretty much the same. It looks like we have an update to Flurry's Winter Chill. Says Winter's Chill is now a much longer debuff that causes the Frost Mage's next 2 spells to treat the target as frozen. A debuff that increases the critical hit chance from the Frost Mage and their allies against the target. So that's the main change. All right, back over in Maldraxxus, gonna try out this crazy skeleton ability. Like I said, not a whole lot of changes for Frost, but we'll go over them. But first things first, I want to get in and use this ability right away. It has a 3-minute cooldown, so I figure if we use it right out the gate, we'll be able to check it out 2 or 3 times before we head into another zone. Now, we are going to go ahead and make sure we have our water elemental summoned. Get our tanky boy out. Okay, so the idea with this skeleton is that we go into this crazy skeleton mode, and then our frost bolts will hit 2 enemies at the same time. So we want to have 2 enemies that we can hit. We got 2 right there, so I think we'll attack them. All right. We can go ahead and just attack this guy as well. All right, so we got our frost bolts. Frostbolts have a chance to give us, they give us icicles, right? So we got our icicles going on. And then we have flurry we can throw out, and we can also throw our ice lance to shoot off our little icicles that we have. This is pretty standard stuff we have from BFA. I'm not gonna get too deep into the rotation here, because it is pretty much straight up the same. The enemies in this zone are level 60, whereas the ones in Bastion were like level 50. So you're going to see me take a lot more damage here from attacks, especially since I'm not using the full might of all my abilities. I'm not sure which enemy has us in combat. This is also... I don't know if it's kind of a bug over here in Maldraxxus, but we'll just kill some more stuff. And hopefully... Oh, let's go ahead and fire off our... Oh, we got lag. Also, sometimes there's some bad lag in Maldraxxus as well. Okay, we're going to run away. We may disconnect. I'm not sure. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to close out and come back in and see if we can't, like, reset that. This is just part of the beta. It happens. So far, the only zone I haven't gotten a lot of lag in is Bastion. I haven't been in Rivendreth too much. There was a little bit of lag there the last time that I went. If this gives us a character error, we'll just make another mage real fast. I want to try the skeleton. Let's go. We may be out of luck with this mage. Okay. Yep. We're going to make a different one real quick. Just do random. Alright, so we want Covenant choice, create a character, we want a mage, and let's be a mecha gnome. Boom. Mecha mage. How does nobody have that name? All right, there we go. So we're back in. Like I said, sometimes there's just bugs. But creating a new character or waiting a while to log back into a character seems to fix most of them. All right, so let's switch back over to Frost. Go check out this Covenant ability. So they did announce that raid testing is going to be on Thursday and Friday. So you should be seeing some news and information about that if that's something that you're interested in. Me personally, I'm not going to be doing any raid testing, and I'm kind of wanting to keep the raid details spoiler free, I guess, for right now. So I probably won't be tuning in too much to what's going on with the raids. But I know the first raid is set in Rivendreth. It's Castle Nathria, I think is the name of it. And it should be pretty good. I really like the theme of that zone and that area. And I'm pretty excited that that's what the first raid is going to be. And I do know a little bit about the story of what's going on in Rivendreth. And I think that's going to... I don't know, it kind of makes me think of Karazhan in a way. Okay, so we're going to try out this mage. Like I said, Frost, we pretty much got the same stuff that we currently have. So we have our Blizzard for our AoE ability. We still have Cold Snap as a big cooldown reduction ability that we can use. We've got our Cold of Cone for a little bit of crowd control, a little slow on there. We've got our Frostbolt up here, right? And for Frost, that's one of our core abilities. And then on top of that, we have our Flurry. So Flurry unleashes a flurry of ice, striking the target 3 times for a total of 831 frost damage. Each hit reduces the target's movement speed by 80%. And if we have Brain Freeze active, Flurry is going to apply that Winter's Chill. On top of that, we have our Ice Lance, which fires off our icicles as well. We got our Frozen Orb for a little bit of AoE on a 1-minute cooldown. Our Ice Barrier for defense. Our Water Elemental. It's our little tanky boy we bring out there. Still got Icy Veins for a offensive pump. And yeah, all of our passives are still there. So we have Shatter. This is going to increase the critical strike chance of our spells against frozen targets. We have our Icicles. So anytime we cast Frostbolt or Flurry, we get an Icicle. And if we cast Ice Lance, it's going to cause all the Icicles we have stored to launch at the target, dealing 215 frost damage apiece. We can keep up to 5 of those at a time. Any excess icicles we get automatically just get launched, and this also increases the damage of our frozen orb. Then we have Fingers of Frost. Frostbolt has an 18% chance, and Frozen Orb has a 10% chance to grant Fingers of Frost. Fingers of Frost will cause our next Ice Lance to deal damage as if the target were frozen, and we can have up to 2 charges of this. And then we have Brain Freeze. Frostbolt has a chance to empower your next flurry to be instant cast, deal 50% increased damage, and apply Winter's Chill to the target. Winter's Chill causes the target to take damage from your spells as if it were frozen. So most of what we do is we go ahead and we cast our Frostbolt. And while we're casting Frostbolt, we are trying to get Fingers of Frost, or sorry, Brain Freeze, because then we cast Flurry, and we get all the bonuses from that. And then we're just going to go back to casting Fingers of Frost, and we cast Flurry if we get a proc. If we end up with 5 icicles, then we can cast our Ice Lance and shoot off all those icicles against the target. So pretty straightforward. All right, we got 2 enemies here. Let's go ahead and do this crazy mage thing. All right, so now our Frostbolt is going to hit 2 targets. It looks like the rest of our abilities are still going to hit 1 target. And we're going to have 10% increased spell damage. Now, let's get a look at this thing. See, that's what I mean. Like, is that insane? No, like in terms of the mechanics and the numbers and stuff, it's not all that crazy, right? But it looks cool, right? And I'm a sucker for it if it looks cool, you know? Yeah, to me that's a little more interesting. All right, so you get the flow here. Frostbolts, right? If we get a proc for Flurry, we cast that. We're gonna Frostbolt again. We build up too many icicles. We can just keep chaining icicles, or we can Ice Lance and fire them off. It's kind of up to you what you want to do there. On the talent side of things, most of what we have here is pretty much the same that we currently have available. You still got your kind of combos in there. One of the ones that I like is Glacial Spike. It says conjures a massive spike of ice, merges your current icicles into it. It impales your target, dealing 3,000 damage, plus all the damage stored in your icicles, which if you throw this with 5, which is what it requires, this actually hits for... Okay, well now it's changing, I think, because... Is it because of combat analysis? Yeah, combat analysis keeps going on and off. But the icicles is like an extra 1,000 damage. So, and along with that, our Ice Lance no longer launches icicles. Instead, we use Glacial Spike to throw them like every time we have 5 for a big chunky bit of damage. But that's something that's currently available in BFA, just kind of showing you like that stuff is still there. So we've got, I need numbers on my cooldowns. It's auto loot. I don't remember where this is at. Action bars. Show numbers for cooldowns. Let's put this. Okay. We got 20 seconds. We're going to go ahead and, let's see. These guys got a pretty decent amount of health. So this actually will hit up to 2 enemies near our target. So I don't think we have an extra one we can pull, but we're going to go Mage, go Deathborn, and just fling out some more Frostbolts here just for fun. Show this off one more time. We can put our Fleshcraft down there too, so it'll go away. All right, let's do it. Deathborn. Frostbolts. Boom. Huh. So it looks like we are still just getting the 1 icicle per Frostbolt, even though it is hitting 2 targets. Still, it's pretty cool. I don't know. 3-minute cooldown's kind of long. But yeah, that's Frost, and that is the Necrolord ability. So we're going to go back. I think we can, yeah, we can just hearth back on this character. And we'll go check out Arcane as well as the Night Fae Covenant ability. Agree with you, this is not a text-based game, just saying. That's true. That's true. We like to see the shinies, right? Alright, so let's go ahead and switch over to Arcane. I thought I wouldn't like the gnome. I don't know, most of the time I'm finding that whatever character I'm on, I don't really care. In general, I think they look pretty cool. In terms of like the class and race and stuff. Maybe we've got some lag going on here again. I did try to cast. Yeah, looks like we have lag again. Some pretty bad lag today. It's gonna slow down my testing. I mean, we can tell just because I still have these icicles up. I still have these icicles, even though their cooldown has been gone for I don't know how long. All right, so we'll pop back in. We'll try to log back into the other mage that we were playing now. How much have you tried to love Arcane? Arcane's not terrible. Okay, so let's see if we can go back to town with this one and switch over to Arcane. Alright. My cooldowns are counting down. That's a good sign. Let's go ahead and heal ourselves up here. Cool. Blink. Alright, let's head over to Ardenweld. Now, I am pretty interested in seeing how strong this ability is. 2600 is a fairly high number, but it's not such a high number that I would feel confident that I'm going to kill everything that is currently aggroing me. But maybe on Arcane combined with Arcane Explosion, it might work out pretty nicely. So like usual, Arcane has access to the spells that all mages have access to. And in terms of changes, we have a couple of things here. So clear casting now has an additional stack. So if we get in here, check out our stuff. Clear casting says for each 500 mana you spend, you have a 1% chance to gain clear casting, making your next arcane missiles or arcane explosion free and channel 20% faster. So we are able to stack that a little bit higher. Our Mastery Savant now extends its damage increasing properties beyond Arcane and Barrage to all spells. So this increases our mana regeneration rate and maximum mana, and Arcane Charges increase the damage of Arcane Blast by an additional amount, and Arcane Barrage as well, and this also increases all other Arcane damage by 12.9%. We have Touch of the Magi baseline now. So this is a 1.4 second cast, 45 second cooldown ability. It says applies Touch of the Magi to your current target, accumulating 25% of the damage you deal to the target for 8 seconds, then exploding that for the amount of arcane damage to the target and reduce damage to all nearby enemies. So I believe this was a talent, and now this is baseline included. Don't quote me on the talent part. I haven't played Arcane in a hot minute. And then we have Enlightened. It says, while the Arcane Mage's mana is above a certain threshold, It empowers all arcane damage dealt by a moderate amount. When below that threshold, it significantly increases mana regeneration. So this is a talent here. I believe this is the one that would have been the replacement for Touch of the Magi. So while above 70% mana, arcane damage dealt is increased by 8%, and our mana regen is increased by 20% if we're below 70% mana with this particular talent. So we do have a little bit of an update, a little bit of a change there. Go away, bug. Okay. Other than that, the rotation is still pretty much the same. Standard stuff. Not a lot of changes to mages. Blizzard, I think, feels like mage is in a pretty good place. And I'm honestly inclined to agree. I think that the baseline kits for mages actually are pretty solid. And it really all comes down to gearing and what sort of layers you can add on top of that. And I wouldn't say that about all the classes. There are definitely classes and specializations that I feel on a baseline level just aren't that interesting, or feel like they have issues, but mage is not really one of them. So we're gonna blink our way out of here, and then we're gonna use our little soul-shaped teleport. Get out of here. We put some real distance between us doing that. It's actually pretty impressive. Imagine with Shimmer, with 2 charges, we shimmer, teleport. It's good stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to get these off of our bar. Okay. So we have our Arcane Blast. This is our single target ability. Blast a target with energy, dealing a low amount of damage. But each arcane charge we have increases the damage done by quite a bit and the mana cost by 100% as well, and reduces the cast time. And this generates an arcane charge. So we cast this and we get charges, and it gets more powerful and costs more mana as we do so. Then we have our Arcane Barrage and our Arcane Missiles. Just checking here. So Arcane Barrage is what's going to consume our arcane charges. So once we've built up our arcane charges, then we're going to spend them on Arcane Barrage. This launches a bolt of arcane energy at the enemy target, dealing a nice chunk of damage. But for each arcane charge, it deals 33% additional damage, grants us 2% of our maximum mana, and hits 1 additional nearby target for 40% of its damage. So more charges equals more power equals more spread across more enemies. Now, we also have Arcane Missiles. This is a channeled ability that launches 5 waves of arcane missiles at the enemy over 2.3 seconds, causing a total of 2,600 arcane damage, which is pretty chunky. Now, the thing that we have going on here is we also have clear casting, right? So clear casting is for each 500 mana we spend, it makes our next arcane missiles or explosion free and channel 20% faster. So basically all we do is cast Arcane Blast to build up charges, then we cast Arcane Barrage to spend those charges. Along the way, we hope we get clear casting from spending mana, and then we can pump arcane missiles into stuff. Or if we're fighting against multiple targets, then we have our Arcane Explosion that we can use as well. And that's a general flow for what we're doing with Arcane. So just kind of show that off here. So we're going to cast Blast. We're going to stack our charges down here. You're going to see this get stronger and take more and more mana. And then we want an Arcane Barrage, not missiles. All right, so build up our charges again. Yep. Blast, Arcane Barrage. We can go back into Blast. Just building up again. We haven't gotten a clear casting proc yet. There we go. So now we got a clear casting proc for Arcane Missiles. We can go into Barrage. And when you get those clear casting procs, it flows a lot better. So the next question is, how does all this work with our Covenant ability? Right? We want to try that out for sure. Let's go ahead and heal ourselves up a little bit. So these enemies have about 9,400 health, and our Covenant ability does 2,240 nature damage. So definitely not enough to kill anything, but I'm thinking potentially if we could build up our arcane blasts, and we can dump that into our arcane barrage that's hitting multiple targets, and we've got an arcane explosion, and we can also do the shifting power ability as well. Maybe we can, you know, work something cool out of that. So I may just end up dying here, but that's okay. We're gonna pull like 3 targets, I think. Want this one. Okay, arcane blast. Arcane blast. We're gonna do our arcane barrage. And then we want to arcane explosion. And I did not channel that, which was a mistake. And I died. I told you I'd probably die. This does let me show off the cool little new grave indicator or corpse indicator that they have here. All right, so I didn't pull that off well. The main thing that I did right there that screwed that up is this is a channeled ability, and I just triggered it and then didn't let it channel. So that probably would have made a difference right there. Changes to mages. It rhymes. Now, I'm assuming that, you know, like before you cast this ability, it's a good idea to either A, have used some cooldowns previously, or to use cooldowns in conjunction with this ability, because you do get the reduction in your cooldowns from this as well. So what do we have in terms of cooldowns that we might want to reduce, right? So we have our arcane power, we've got evocation, greater invisibility. We can also throw up our prismatic barrier before we do that kind of pull, but it looks like maybe we're going to get stuff from talents in there. Can reduce our soul shape? No, it's mage ability cooldowns only. So if we picked up some other stuff from the talent tree that had cooldowns, we might have some synergy going with that. Okay, so we're going to try this again, and this time I'm going to actually channel the ability and try to not be a scrub. All right, so we're going to pull this one. 1, 2, 3. Let's do our barrier. Maybe we can like Frost Nova there. Right, get our barrage going. Let's do some blasts here. All right, let's channel this thing. Still gonna die. Okay. Well, you get the idea of what I'm trying to do there. I assume that, you know, on a better mage, someone with a little more practice, that's going to work out a little better. But the whole point of doing that testing was just to kind of see, like, how does the ability work? And for me, it's like, can it save me from a situation like that? And I think the fairly obvious answer there is no. It doesn't do enough damage to have a significant impact where you can hit it as an oh crap button. But that makes sense to me. This is something that you can use on a 45-second cooldown, and you can use it to drastically reduce the cooldowns of your more powerful abilities. So I think that in practice, what you're going to end up doing with this is just kind of flowing through your regular rotation, but you're going to be able to add in some of your other abilities. Like you're going to be able to add in your arcane power or your evocation, that kind of stuff, into your rotation more frequently. Now, I guess a question to ask is, can we just... All right, let's use evocation, right, just for the heck of it. So we have about 1 minute and 20 seconds of cooldown. So if we just channel this, Yeah, so you don't even have to hit anything with the ability to reduce the cooldown. So I think with this ability, that's kind of what you're doing. Regardless of what specialization you're playing, being able to use this every 45 seconds is going to make it so that you do have a little bit of extra damage that you can use, but you'll be able to fit in using some of your other abilities much more frequently. And just taking a look at arcane here, like shimmer, like you can reduce the cooldown on that. Rune of power, charged up. You know, some of these things with 45 to a minute second cooldowns, you're going to be able to throw those in. Like, let's use arcane power, right? So we use arcane power, getting our blast going. We just throw this in as a regular part of our rotation to kind of reduce the cooldown on that. Boom. So maybe don't pull a bunch of stuff and then try to, like, you know, get out of it by casting shifting power. But just kind of work it into what you're normally doing anyway. So I'm looking at this like I still have a 3-minute cooldown on my arcane power. I've got 6 seconds left on my shifting power here. Pretty much full up. So I'm going to go straight into this. I'm just working this into my rotation basically every time it's off cooldown, just to kind of reduce these cooldowns and be able to use these abilities more often. I don't know. I think overall, with the 3 abilities that I've been able to use during this showcase, I can't say that any of them is super appealing to me. I definitely need to try the Vinthier one as well. I think right now, based on the abilities, I would probably just pick my Covenant for flavor, or if I felt like it, I would just go with that super, like, Deathborn, crazy double, triple Frostbolt, Fireball, Arcane Blast mage that's over on the Necrolord side of things. But just my opinion. I think the Kyrian ability is definitely going to be a solid option as well. It's just a little less... Why did I go to Burning Crusade? I'm going to my home. Anyway, we don't need to check out whatever's in Burning Crusade, so we'll just relaunch here. What do you guys think? Based on the abilities you saw, what are the ones that you think you're gonna want to end up playing on your mage? Or do you think, like me, you're probably just gonna end up picking a mage for the Covenant? All right, it's time to check out Paladins. So we're gonna make a Paladin here. Human, Lightforged Draenei, Dwarf, Zandalari Troll, Tauren, Blood Elf, and Draenei. Let's make a big beefy. I haven't really messed with the male Draenei customizations, so we're going to take a second and look at these. Oh, we got... No, I don't want a Lightforged. I want the regular ones, because they got a bunch of new customization options. Alright, let's check them out. We got the tail, we got the long tail, or the short tail. Let's go long tail. All right, over here we got a headdress. We can have a circlet or none. Let's go with none. Jewelry color, we'll come back around to that. All right, music, chill out. All right, so faces. Let's go with that one. And then do we have, there's no eye color. They're all just blue. Oh, where's the Murloc? I was going to show that to Cass if you find it. Okay, and then let's see, let's go. Yeah, we'll just keep this. This is, yeah, we'll keep the skin color for right now. Let's see, hairstyle. So we got some new ones here, right? This weird short one that has like a weird comb over going on. Thick knot. Sideswept is even worse. I don't understand that hairstyle at all. Got fan, which literally has a fan on it. Wild. Ponytail, Hanzo. So I'm going to take this one. Hair color. Ugh. Facial hair. Ducktail. DuckTales. Woo. Sure. And then tendrils. Got some crazy options here. I think I'm going to go no tendrils. Then we can jump back over to jewelry color. Oh, we got horn decoration. Oh, look at that. That's fly. I like that. That's cool. And then jewelry color. We need something appropriately paladin. We have like some gold. Let's go with that. Boom. It's a paladin. Okay. Well, let's get in here and check these out. What are you trying to say, Murphy? Fire will me cool either. That's no. What? Please explain yourself. Okay. It says, I will play all classes and specs for both Horde and Alliance. It's going to be cool to pick different covenant for each spec. Each class. Because you can only pick one covenant per character. The sideswept hair, I know. Like, it's pretty... I don't understand it at all. You and my daughter sang the DuckTales song at the same time. Dang straight. Awesome. All right, you guys, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already and you're enjoying it. Okay, so on the Kyrian side of things, for Paladin, we're going to go over the abilities for the different covenants. Obviously, we're going to talk about the abilities that are available across all Paladins and all changes and all that kind of good stuff. And we're going to kind of follow along with Wowhead here. So I will get that linked over to you guys in chat in case you want to reference it. Like I said, I've played good a bit. Paladin, I think, is my most played class in the beta right now. Not that I've spent a lot of time with one class or another. And this is like top contender for me for... Actually, right now, there's no other class in the running for main for me yet. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so Paladins, for their Kyrian ability, they have access to Divine Toll. An absolutely insane, amazing, awesome ability that I friggin' love. And there are no other contenders. Even though I haven't really looked at the other abilities. This one's awesome. So it's an instant cast on a 1-minute cooldown. So not the shortest, but not too long. It says you instantly cast Holy Shock, Avenger Shield, or Judgment on up to 5 targets within 30 yards based on your current specialization. So if you are Holy, you'll cast Holy Shock. If you are Prot, you'll cast Avenger Shield. And if you are Ret, you will cast Judgment. Now, please note, when you cast this ability, it does not cast your actual ability. So in this case, we're currently spec'd as Retribution. So if we use Divine Toll, it'll cast Judgment on 5 targets, but we will still have our Judgment available. It does not activate the cooldown or take charges or anything like that from your actual ability. So it actually counts as like a AoE Judgment that you can use on a 1-minute cooldown separate from your normal Judgment. It's pretty disgusting. I really like it on Prot because you just throw 5 shields at one time. And it's amazing. That ability also has the nickname Fan of Shields because as like a reference to Fan of Knives on rogues, that's basically what you do. You just throw out a bunch of shields. It's amazing. Okay, so moving on to other abilities, we have the Night Fae. Blessing of Summer. So this is instant with a 30-second cooldown. It says blesses an ally for 30 seconds, causing their attacks to have a high chance to deal 713 holy damage. And this will turn into Blessing of Autumn after use. I don't know if we can cast this on ourselves, but we'll try it and we'll see what the different blessings are. I actually think thematically this is really cool. I think I've read only the old version of this ability. So I'll have to see what the new updates are. All right, let's see if we can see what the Vinthier ability is. Wow, you are going crazy. So we have Ashen Hallow. 1.4 second cast, 4-minute cooldown. Holy cow, that is long. Wow, that armor looks sweet. Anyway, hallow the target area for 30 seconds. Every 1.9 seconds, an enemy in the area suffers 754 shadow damage, and an ally in the area is healed for 1240. Within the hallow, you may use Hammer of Wrath on any target. Wow, that is a pretty sweet, like, PvP, like, capture the flag, defender zoning ability for sure. Sounds cool. I mean, 4-minute cooldown. Wow, that is so long. This is something that I would never pick for open world content and questing and stuff like that, just because the cooldown is so long. But the ability sounds pretty awesome. Probably looks cool too, I imagine. And over on the Necrolord side, we have Vanquisher's Hammer. Cost 1 holy power. It's instant, 30-second cooldown. Says throws a hammer at your target, dealing 603 shadow damage and empowering your next Templar's Verdict to automatically trigger Divine Storm. These abilities do change based on the specialization that you are playing, but they're usually relatively similar. So, for example, this one says deals shadow damage and empowers your next Templar's Verdict to automatically trigger Divine Storm. So on the ret side of things, our Templar's Verdict is right here. It says unleashes a powerful weapon strike that deals 1900 holy damage to an enemy target. So single cast holy power spender that we have there. So with that Necrolord ability, we're getting that to automatically trigger a Divine Storm, which Divine Storm is like our AoE spender for ret. But if we were to switch over to, let's say, Holy, then you're going to see the like listed stuff is going to change, but conceptually the ability is basically the same. So here it says deals shadow damage, automatically empowering your next Word of Glory to automatically trigger Light of Dawn. So it's always going to be something similar like that, right? So it does change from spec to spec, but it's basically the same thing across all of them. It just puts in the relevant abilities for you. All right, so we'll go back over to Ret. And I want to show off the Kyrian ability with Prot just because I think it's awesome. So we will, I think we'll go try the Necrolord ability with Retribution. And if I just misspoke, I want to show off the Kyrian ability with Prot. Now, Ret is relatively the same as it is in BFA. You still are going to be using Holy Power. Most of your abilities are still there. We've got some abilities that are available for all paladins now, and a couple of additions that were made that aren't there in BFA currently. So we've got some things to go over. Just not a lot of those changes are on the Ret side of things. So as a whole, paladins have several baseline abilities, just like all the classes now. So you have a Paladins tab here, And there's a bunch of stuff in here. So Avenging Wrath, we've got across the board. We've got the blessings across the board as well. Consecration is available for all paladins. Crusader Strike is also available for all paladins, which is a interesting one there. Divine Shield, Divine Steed, Flash of Light, Hammer of Justice, Hammer of Wrath is a execute ability available to all paladin specializations. And then we also have Shield of the Righteous, which is a interesting choice for all paladins. Turn Evil and Word of Glory. So Word of Glory is a new holy power spending ability, or maybe not new, but it's available to everyone now, and it's cost holy power and heals a friendly target for 2,300 health. Also, holy power is the resource for all specializations now. So Rhett has been using holy power for a while. I can't remember if holy was or not. Prot definitely was not, but they all are using holy power as their resource now, along with still having to spend mana for some of their abilities, but really it just comes down to managing your holy power. Now we also have auras available for paladins. So these are something that were brought back as part of the unpruning process. And currently there are, I think there's 4 that are default across. No, 3 that are default across all the specializations. So you have the concentration aura. So this says interrupt and silence effects on party and raid members within 40 yards are 30% shorter. Kind of a PvP style aura there. Not that it can't be used in other situations as well. We also have the Crusader aura. This increases mounted speed by 20% for all party and raid members within 40 yards. Always fun to have when you're in open world content or traveling around. And then we also have Devotion aura. Party and raid members within 40 yards are bolstered by their devotion, reducing damage taken by 3%. So a nice damage reduction aura across the board. Now, Rhett has an extra one here. Retribution aura says when any party or raid member within 40 yards dies, you gain Avenging Wrath for 12 seconds. So probably good PvP raid ability or aura, and maybe not that great outside of that, right? So we have the auras. And then we also have 3 talents that are available to all specializations now. So we have Divine Purpose. And Divine Purpose says Holy Power abilities have a 15% chance to make your next Holy Power ability free and deal 20% increased damage and healing. So this is just a nice, as you're using Holy Power abilities, you might see a flashy light, and then that will allow you to cast one of your holy power spenders for free with increased damage and healing. This is a nice talent to have in general, and it's now available to all specializations, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's pretty good. It's a really solid talent. We also have Holy Avenger. So this one is available to all specializations as well. It says your holy power generation is tripled for 20 seconds. Instant cast, 3-minute cooldown. So if you are wanting those big bursts of holy power generation, you can get those here. So as opposed to Divine Purpose, where you have a random chance to get a free ability, this just makes you go absolutely crazy generating holy power and spending, so you can kind of set up for a nice rotation. And then the last talent that's available to all specializations is Seraphim. This costs 3 holy power. It's instant cast with a 45-second cooldown, and it says the light magnifies your power for 15 seconds, granting haste, critical strike, mastery, and versatility. 3 holy power is pretty easy to generate, and a 45-second cooldown is not that bad, as we've seen with some of the Covenant abilities with a similar cooldown length. So something you can use quite frequently. So basically, this talent row here is available to all specializations, and you'll be able to choose between those. So across the board, that's kind of what's going on with Paladin. A little bit more involved than some of the other classes, mainly because Holy Power is now across all 3 specializations. The auras have come back and are available for specializations. And then also we have this talent line here. All right, so that gets us into actually talking about Retribution and what has changed there. Almost nothing. So we have 2 kind of big things for Retribution Paladin. So the first one is we have Empyrean Power, which is now a talent. It says Crusader Strike has a 15% chance to make your next Divine Storm free and deal additional damage. So this is nice. Crusader Strike is kind of our spam ability. You know, we usually want to judge something and then spam Crusader Strike onto it. This is going to generate Holy Power for us so that we can spend that on Templar's Verdict in single target or on Divine Storm in multi-target AoE situations. So that's a new talent that we have there. The other thing is that we now have Wake of Ashes as a baseline ability. This is the Legion artifact ability that is currently available as a talent in BFA. It's a lot of fun. I really like the ability, and they've gone ahead and made it baseline. So I think that's awesome. I'm super excited, super pumped about that. That means that you have a different talent choice that you can make instead of having to take Wake of Ashes. So Wake of Ashes is instant cast, 45-second cooldown, says lash out at your enemies, dealing 3,000 radiant damage to all enemies within 12 yards in front of you, and reducing their movement speed by 50%. Now, as you saw with the mage ability doing a little bit over 2,000, that's still a fair amount of damage. So 3,000 to everything on a 45-second cooldown, not too bad. If you happen to be fighting demon or undead enemies, they also get stunned for 5 seconds. So this is a repeatable 45-second cooldown, depending on where you're at. On top of that, it will generate 3 Holy Power for you, which is the amount that your Holy Power spending abilities cost. So we have Templar's Verdict and Divine Storm. They both cost 3 Holy Power apiece. And on top of that, we also have, I don't think it's on the board or on the bar here, but we have our Word of Glory as well, which cost 3 Holy Power. And we're going to throw that on the bar too. So it instantly enables any of our Holy Power spenders. So that's really nice to have baseline. Now, in terms of what we're doing, it's pretty much straight up the same as BFA. I kind of just described it, but if we are in a single target situation, we're going to judge, right? Then we're going to want to cast our Crusader Strike. We can throw out Blade of Justice as well. We kind of want to get Blade of Justice in there as soon as we can. Spend our Holy Power on like Templar's Verdict if we're in single target. Now we have the Hammer of Wrath as sort of an execute ability. And we just cycled through that combo repeatedly. So Judgment, get your Blade of Justice in there. Crusader Strike. There you go. And then we've got our execute as well. Only difference for multi-target is you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to cast Divine Storm instead of Templar's Verdict. Right? So now we have the ability to cast Wake of Ashes on some targets. So if we go up here, and let's say we're going to pick this out as our primary target, but we want to come up here and fight both of these, or we just want to fall down a hill, whatever makes sense. Then we can Templar's Verdict. We can Wake of Ashes for a good chunk of damage, right? And we're instantly back up to where we can use our Divine Storm again. Cast our Hammer of Wrath for our little execute there. Switch over to this guy. We're totally up for our Holy Power spender already. And you kind of get the flow. So it's very, 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 very similar to BFA. The main difference is you now have Wake of Ashes available every 45 seconds as something you can throw in there for increased damage and Holy Power generation. And on top of that, you do have Word of Glory now, which you can spend to heal yourself. So if for some reason you don't want to cast Templar's Verdict or Divine Storm with your Holy Power, You can heal yourself up with Word of Glory, which I think on Ret is actually pretty nice because for those situations when you do take damage, this is a nice instant cast, 2300 heal, whereas Flash of Light, you have to sit there and cast it and spend all your mana on it for 2400 healing. So Word of Glory is a very nice healing alternative for Ret. So if you're in a sticky situation, you can build up your holy power and occasionally just throw out Word of Glory on yourself for some instant cast healing that doesn't take all your mana. Because at a certain point, if you're spamming Flash of Light, you're just running out of mana, and then you're just getting yourself into a situation that's really hard to get out of. All right, so let's try out our Vanquisher's Hammer. Okay, so this says it costs 1 holy power, so this is a little weird, right? Most of our holy power spending abilities cost 3, and this cost 1. So it throws a hammer at your target, dealing shadow damage and empowering your next Templar's Verdict to automatically trigger Divine Storm. So let's give this a shot. We're going to we'll fight this guy. Right, so we're going to do that. We're going to do this. We've got some holy power. Let's use it on Vanquisher's Hammer. All right, and then, yep, so we do our Templar's Verdict, and that cast a Divine Storm as well. So, it's not that complicated, right? It's pretty... There we go. We can Word of Glory. Spend that additional... That's the other thing I like about Word of Glory, is if you're between combats with leftover holy power, you can just chuck out that Word of Glory to heal yourself up. That's going to be pretty nice when leveling, I think. So... Yeah, this is not that crazy, right? I'm imagining the scenario where... I'm basically fighting a couple of enemies here, right? Or not. Come here. Okay, they're just gonna range kill me. Alright, and then we can throw out our Vanquisher's Hammer. And then the next time we do this, we also get a little bit of AoE in there too. So let's see if we can't... are we gonna make it in time? Word of Glory. There we go. A little bit of healing. So let's see if we can't spam into some more healing here and keep ourselves alive. Get an instant cast Flash of Light there. And this is what I mean. We can just kind of dump holy power into this Word of Glory and keep ourselves alive if we need to. Obviously, casting our damage dealing abilities is going to kill the thing faster, which is also beneficial. But between combats, 3 holy power, boom. There we go. Look at that healing in between combat. Pretty sweet. Overall, this Covenant ability, I think, is fine. I mean, it's on a really low cooldown. It does cost 1 holy power, which I think kind of throws a wrench into your flow a little bit, potentially. But you're spending 1 holy power to essentially deal 6 holy power worth of abilities, right? So your Templar's Verdict's going to cost you 3. Normally, Divine Storm would cost you 3. Instead, you're spending 1, and you cast both abilities for 3. So you're getting like a 2 holy power discount on casting 2 abilities at the same time. If that's something that's relevant, which it may be, especially in dungeon or world content where you're constantly going to be surrounded by, 2, 3, 4 enemies. I could easily see you going into a dungeon and kind of chucking this out at your main target, and then you're building up your holy power. You hit Templar's Verdict on your main target, and then you just do some AoE holy damage to everything that's around you too. So I think it's a viable talent for sure, especially with the 30-second cooldown. You're using that, 1 to 3 times per fight, I would imagine, in a dungeon anyway. And that's basically every fight or every other fight in open world content, depending on how big your pools are. Not too bad. Wake of Ashes equals love. Pure love. Yes. Wait, I missed that. Is Wake of Love baseline now? Yes, Wake of Ashes is baseline for Retribution Paladins. Okay, so next we're going to go over and check out the Protection Paladin. And we're going to check out the Kyrian ability. Show off that Divine Toll goodness. But first, I'm going to take this helmet off. Super important, I know. Hide it. Okay. Boom. There we go. That's better. All right, so we're going to switch over to Prot. Have unspent talent points, huh? Let's just take the left side like they do for all of these. Okay, and then we're going to head over to Bastion. Yay, Prot Pally all day. Dang straight. I'm so weirdly excited about Prot Pally. Okay, instead of chatting on this ride like I normally do, I'm actually going to AFK for a second, go grab a drink and stuff, and when I come back, we will resume with Prot Pally and go over the changes, tweaks, and the Kyrian Covenant ability. So I will be back shortly. All right, we're back. Cool. You guys don't forget to like the stream if you're having fun checking out these videos. Keep encouraging me to do more of them, even though I'm going to do the class deep dives anyway. Still, it's nice. All right. So let's head out, check out this crazy cool Kyrian ability, and talk about Prot Paladin. Just another smith. Oh, hey. I talked to you earlier today. Prot Pally will be my main in Shadowlands. We need pause music. Yeah, we need something for that. Oh, you mean? Oh, like when I'm AFK? Oh, speaking of, go away text. Goodbye. I almost forgot. It's really easy to forget to turn that off. DuckTales theme would have been appropriate. Very true. But then YouTube would just come along and copyright strike me and then tell me that I can't live stream for 3 months, because that happened to me one time for a stupid reason. But yeah, if you want the backstory on that, just find the video on the channel. I think it says like YouTube is dumb. That was fun. That was I think I like just gotten monetized or something, and then I got a copyright strike and couldn't live stream for like 3 months. Fun times. What about the priest lost? I'm just not even... I'm going to put priest in as a censored word on my YouTube channel. Because at this point, it's just a meme. I don't even actually dislike priest this much, but I think it's just a meme for my channel now. So I should just add that in there. Like it's a chat censor. Like censor the word priest. Sorry, you can't say that. I think that would be fun. Anyway, changes to prop paladins. What do we have going on? So the biggest one is they use holy power now, right? So that's the biggest one here. So we're going to be checking that out, of course. Where am I at? It's a good question. I passed the area where we've been doing testing, which is down here. Okay, so the biggest change is that we are now using the holy power on Protection Paladin. So let's go ahead and take a look at what all that entails. So we kind of went over all the stuff that paladins have available to them now. Anyway, so this is our tab for Protection Paladin. So we still have our Avenger's Shield, which requires a shield. We'll do that, I guess. We'll put a shield on. Sword. There we go. All right, now we're all geared up for prop pally. So we have our Avenger's Shield. This hurls your shield at enemy target, does the bounce and interrupt and all that kind of good stuff. This generates 1 holy power and 1 additional when it damages the target for the first time. So you get 2 holy power off your initial Avenger's Shield. This is on a 14-second cooldown. Now, along with that, we still have our Judgment. So this is going to deal damage to the target and cause them to take increased damage from your next holy power ability, which in this case is mainly just going to be Shield of the Righteous for prop paladin, but we'll get to that. We still have our Hammer of the Righteous as well. So Hammer of the Righteous is instant cast, 4.3 seconds, it deals damage and blah blah blah. If we're in our consecration, it is also going to cause a wave of light that hits other targets within 8 yards. But more importantly, this generates 1 holy power and has 2 charges. So we are getting 2 holy power out of our Avenger's Shield, and we're getting 2 holy power out of our 2 Hammer of Righteous casts, or 1 out of each cast. So mainly we're going to be generating the bulk of our holy power through Hammer of the Righteous, but we're also going to get some initial from our Avenger's Shield throw, and then when we get our procs of Grand Crusader, that is also going to give us more opportunities to throw out shields and get more holy power. So that's how we're generating holy power. And interestingly enough, there's only 2 abilities by default that we're spending holy power on. So the first is Word of Glory, which you saw on Retribution Paladin. And this one, I believe, let me double check here. Yeah, so holy power is the same, but we have Hand of the Protector, I believe. Let's double check and make sure that is actually the case. So if we switch to this, okay, got it. So specifically for protection, it says if cast on yourself, the healing of Word of Glory is increased by up to 300% based on your missing health. So we no longer have the little flashy light. I don't even know if it was the same name before, but we had the ability on protection that basically we could use it on ourselves. And if we were missing more health, it would heal for more. So we don't have that in that form. But we have Word of Glory with the additional bonus that if we're protection and we cast it on ourselves, we get increased healing based on our missing health. So that is there. The other thing that we're spending on holy power, or spending our holy power on, more importantly, is Shield of the Righteous. Now, weirdly, this is available for all paladins, but obviously you're using this on your Protection Paladin the most. This is instant cast and costs 3 holy power. It says slams the enemies in front of you with your shield, causing 600 holy damage and increasing your armor by 1500 for 4.5 seconds. So we're going to be building up holy power And we're basically going to be slamming things with Shield of the Righteous for a little bit of damage, but more importantly, to increase our armor. And occasionally when we need a little bit of a heal, we'll throw out Word of Glory. And that's basically it. That's what we're doing. We've still got Cleanse Toxins. We've got our Ardent Defender buff, Guardian of Ancient Kings. We've got our Taunt as well. As far as our passive goes, these are tweaked a little bit. So we still have the Grand Crusader, which gives us our resets for Avenger's Shield. Our Mastery is Divine Bulwark. It increases our chance to block, reduces our damage and consecration, and increases our attack power. We have Riposte. Says you gain parry equal to 100% of your critical strike from gear. And then Shining Light says Judgment reduces the cost of your next Word of Glory by 1. And this does stack. So this is an interesting mechanic for protection, because we can kind of ignore Word of Glory and focus on just spending our charges on Shield of the Righteous. And as we cast Judgment, we're eventually going to tick down to a free Word of Glory that we can then use whenever we need it. It is kind of advantageous to just go ahead and cast it when it comes up, because you're going to keep casting Judgment and get another free one. But if you feel like you're in a situation where maybe you need to hang on to it, you definitely can. So just to show this off in action, we're going to go over here and fight some stuff. So pay attention to the holy power that we are generating, right? So we're going to cast our Judgments. We're going to Avenger's Shield, which gave us 2. So now we're at 3. And we can go ahead and cast our Shield of the Righteous. Got our procs here. We still have Hammer of Wrath, which, like I said, is available for all specializations. But we're rapidly building up our holy power here and spending it. It's really not that hard to do. Okay. And so let's go ahead and bump over here. So now we have a free holy power, or sorry, Word of Glory that we can cast. Now, I think that this, overall, this setup with, turn this music down just a bit. I think overall the setup with using holy power actually feels really good on Protection Paladin. It kind of, I think it makes sense. It makes it a little bit more clear, like when you should cast your abilities. Generally, by the time you've built up 3 holy power, you're going to want to cast your Shield of the Righteous, because it is, it's already cooled down. So like right there, I lost Shield of the Righteous. I put it up. I'm going to work my way to building up my holy power again. Shield of the Righteous, right? We're generating as much as we can here. Right? Shield of the Righteous. We're at 3 again. Shield of the Righteous. Like, you get it. Like, the flow, I think it feels pretty good and everything fits in pretty well. And the fact that you can get the free cast of Word of Glory by just using Judgment 3 times also means that using Word of Glory doesn't interrupt that flow of getting keeping Shield of the Righteous up. So all in all, I think the protection rotation feels pretty good. Now in the talent section, since we do have holy power as a thing now, we'll kind of look over that and see how holy power is tied into that. The new resource does kind of affect the talents quite a bit. At the core, they do the same things for the most part, though. So we've got Fist of Justice. Each holy power spent reduces the remaining cooldown on Hammer of Justice by 2 seconds. So that's got some holy power tied in. We have Divine Purpose, which we looked at, along with Holy Avenger and Seraphim across the board there. Hand of the Protector is it's the same talent that we have for the ability we currently have in BFA, where we can use the ability to cast on someone else and still have it heal additional based on missing health. Sanctified Wrath says Avenging Wrath lasts 25% longer and causes Judgment to generate 2 holy power. Righteous Protector says each holy power spent reduces the remaining cooldown on Avenging Wrath and Guardian of Ancient Kings by 1 second. Blessed Hammer, which is a replacement for Hammer of the Righteous, basically functions the same, and it generates a holy power as well. And that's pretty much it. So those are the things that have been tweaked to add holy power in. So like I said, overall, feels pretty good. We have not checked out the ability, so I will show that off. So we're going to gather up a bunch of stuff, and then I'm going to hit Divine Toll, and you're going to see 5 shields fly out, and it's going to be amazing. Guaranteed. If I can gather up enough stuff. So let's see if we can. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 here. All right. Watch it. Here we go. Boom. 5 shields. Absolutely insane. See how much damage that did too. And that's on a nice little 1-minute cooldown. Pretty smexy. Okay. So it looks like we still have a little while on our Hearthstone. So we're going to run back over to the flight point so we can head back to Oribos. And then we will go over to the Night Fae Covenant and check out Holy Paladin along with their Covenant ability. Now keep in mind that this Divine Toll, like it threw all the shields for Protection Paladin, but it does different things based on your spec, but it still all amounts to just hitting a lot of stuff with an ability, and it looks awesome. Just Another Smith says, I would like to thank you for streaming your beta experience with us, giving us a look at the changes coming our way. I know, it's a lot of streaming on the channel. I know like most of my videos right now are just VODs of me streaming and trying out classes, but that's what I do, okay? That's what I do. I check out classes, I try to dive deep into the gameplay, I try to learn as much as I can and translate that into guides that you guys can use. And you know, I'm just working under the assumption that, like, if you're here, this kind of content is fine. I used to guilt myself and just be like, man, you're just streaming a lot. Like, why don't you make some real edited videos and stuff? And I'm like, you know, this is me. This is what I do. Eventually, I'll have some, like, edited guides that hopefully will help people out and everything. But this is part of the process. And I wanted to bring you guys along and let you kind of see sort of what it's like and ask questions and check out the beta. And, you know, I've said it before. If you want me to run around and check out something in the beta, just let me know. Like, I'll put it on the list. I'll put it in the queue of things to show off next. So definitely happy to be able to share the experience. And honestly, I hope you guys get into the beta as well. You know, for my parts, like I probably wouldn't be in the beta either, but I used mystical content creator powers, aka Hail Mary begging, and was able to get access. So, you know, I definitely want to take advantage of it and test and, you know, do my part, report bugs and all that kind of good stuff. So here we are. Boss says Priest is most played class in WoW. Is it really? Boss says, really? Can you teach me discipline, please? I want to change my main from marksman to disc, but it's so damn hard. I mean, you know, like I said, like it's just a meme at this point, you know, how much I dislike Priest. It is my like least played class, but I don't hate it. Like that's just a meme. At this point. So we'll definitely check it out. I'm still trying to get Aggie to play it on stream. So you guys just keep pestering her about it. Don't relent. I'll send you her phone number. Just kidding. I don't want to get stabbed. All right, so we're going over to Ardenweld. Try out this Night Fae ability with the seasons and all that kind of good stuff. Hopefully we can cast the ability on ourselves. Otherwise, I'm in a spot of trouble with trying to show off the ability here. That was awesome, the 5 shields. Yeah, I mean, it's just as awesome on the other specializations as well. But it's, I mean, I just like throwing a shield as a protection paladin anyway. So having all those shields is even better. Have you done warrior yet? No. I messed around with warrior on my first stream, the one that says I'm playing beta. So there's a little bit of warrior footage in there, not a whole lot, but I haven't done a deep dive for warrior yet. The next deep dive, I have a request in the queue for rogue. So we're going to be doing rogue on the next one, and then whatever class I pick, which I think is probably going to be Death Knight. All right, here we are. All right, so I'm not going to be focused too much on showing off like full healing rotations or anything in this video or in this overview for the specialization. We're going to check out the Covenant ability, and we're also going to talk about the changes to Holy just in general. So they've got access to all the Paladin abilities like usual. There's a couple of different things here. So Glimmer of Light is a level 50 talent row, which was level 100 pre-squish, but it's still here. It says Holy Shock leaves a Glimmer of Light on the target for 30 seconds. When you Holy Shock, all targets with Glimmer of Light are damaged for 137 or healed for 361, which is a pretty small amount, but still. You may have Glimmer of Light on up to 8 targets. Now, that's probably pretty interesting with the Kyrian ability that we just saw. And then now we have a tweak to Aura Mastery. If I can find it on here. I feel like I'm blind. Like, oh, it's, yeah. Duh. It's an ability. So Aura Mastery says empowers your chosen aura for 8 seconds on a 3-minute cooldown. This now affects these auras, not talents that you choose from. So I don't think it says what all they do, but we may be able to find that here. Okay, don't quote me on this because this was removed from the tooltip, but it looks like for Devotion Aura, it's going to increase the damage reduction for... Nope. Yep, definitely don't quote me on that. We'll have to see what it does. It's still showing the old stuff in like the tooltips. But those are most of the changes. We're using Holy Power now as well for healing. So if we look through what we have here, we've got our passives. So our Mastery Lightbringer says increases healing done based on proximity to your target. So the closer you are, the more healing you're going to do. We've got Infusion of Light. Your critical Holy Shocks reduce the cast time of your next Flash of Light by 30 seconds or increase the healing of your next Holy Light by 30%. So that's still there. Those are our main passive talents that we've got. In terms of abilities, over here, some of the core abilities, mainly Flash of Light is in there. And then everything else is still over here in Holy. So we have our Holy Shock. This says, triggers a burst of light. So it'll either deal holy damage to an enemy or heal an ally. Has increased critical strike chance, and this will generate holy power for us. We also have Holy Light. This is our efficient spell that heals a target, so a little bit of a longer cast time with a lower mana cost compared to our Flash of Light, which has a lower cast time and higher mana cost. They both heal about the same. Holy Light heals a little bit more. We have Light of Dawn. So this is a holy power spender. This unleashes a wave of holy energy, healing up to 5 injured allies within a 15-yard frontal cone for 722. So we're generating through Holy Shock, and we're spending on Light of Dawn. We have Light of the Martyr. This is instant. It says sacrifice a portion of your own health to instantly heal an ally for 1600. You take damage equal to 50% of the healing done. This does not cause your Beacon of Light to be healed, and you cannot cast it on yourself. So we do still have Beacon of Light. This is instant cast. Wrap a single ally in holy energy, causing your heals on other party or raid members to also heal the ally for 50% of the amount healed. Healing this ally directly with Flash of Light or Holy Light will grant 1 holy power. Then we've got our Cleanse, our Divine Protection, Aura Mastery, and then like our AoE heal. We also have Judgment. So this is similar. It's going to deal damage and cause the target to take 30% increased damage from your next Crusader Strike or Holy Shock. Now, for Holy Paladin, since we have access to Crusader Strike, that's another way to generate holy power if you are in melee range. On top of that, you do have access to Shield of the Righteous. So if you're using a shield up close, you have the ability to use this as well as a holy power spender alternative to your Light of Dawn. On top of that, you still have access to Word of Glory as a holy power spender as well. So there's kind of a lot going on here, and I feel like it's like a mixed bag between whether you want to play up close as a holy paladin or you want to kind of hang back and just focus on the healing, in that manner. So if you're going to hang back, then you're, like Light of Dawn's not totally useless, but it's a little less useful. And at that point, you don't really have a holy power spender that you're using just by default. We're going to see if there's one you can pick up maybe in talents that relates to that. But if you are up close doing your healing and stuff like that, you've got Light of Dawn that you can spend for heals. And you also have Shield of the Righteous. You do have Word of Glory. It does have a 40-yard range, so that might be kind of like your bread and butter long distance Holy Paladin healing holy power spender, but we're still going to check the talents and see if there's anything else in there that we could spin that holy power on. So at range, you're holy shocking to generate holy power, and then you're also potentially getting some holy power from having your Beacon of Light on a target and directly healing them. And then I think it looks like you're going to pump the holy power into Word of Glory, because 2,700 on a heal instant cast is pretty solid. I mean, you're looking at 1,900 for your Holy Light, and we're at 1,400 for Flash of Light, so that is a pretty big chunky direct heal. So that's probably what you're doing. Whereas if you are playing up close, then you have your Holy Shock to generate. You may or may not be using Beacon of Light, but you have your Crusader Strike to generate holy power as well. And then you can spin that on your Shield of the Righteous. If you want to deal some extra damage and have a little bit more defense, you could spin it on Word of Glory to hit a single target with a big heal, or Light of Dawn to just kind of do a bulk AoE heal. So overall, I don't know. I really like how all that sort of fits together. I like the options you have and the flexibility. My favorite way to play Holy Paladin is to do the sort of like up in your face melee paladin. So I like that it looks like there's a pretty good amount of options for doing that. That's definitely the way that I like to play. So I'm really excited actually about Holy Paladin in Shadowlands. And a lot of this stuff for the like melee style healer is just enabled without having to pick any of the main melee. Or what am I saying? I got distracted. Without having to pick any specific talents. which is also pretty awesome. Hey, we actually didn't aggro the bugs that time. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the talents and just see like what we can generate and spend holy power with. And we're also going to take a look at this Night Fae Covenant ability while we're out here. Not sure if we'll really fight anything. We might fight a thing or two and just kind of look at some of the heals. Already taken a look at Ret. Yes, Ret was the first specialization that I took a look at. You should be able to rewind the stream. Like there is what's it called? Like DVR or whatever available if you want to check it out. Or the VOD will be up after the stream is over as well. And if you have any questions about Ret, I'm definitely, I can answer whatever you want while we're doing this as well. So feel free to post those if you want. And also welcome to the stream. Okay, so I want to jump in real quick and just kind of cruise through the talents here, see what we have that involves holy power. So we've got Fist of Justice still, and we've got the whole 40 talent line here. Okay. Did I miss anything that cost holy power? Don't think so. So nothing there. No holy power, no holy power spender. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't look like in the talents there's really anything going on in terms of holy power generators or holy power spenders. So I think kind of what you see is what you get in terms of that mechanic for the Holy Paladin. So let's check out this Covenant ability. We have Blessing of Summer. So instant cast, 30-second cooldown, bless an ally for 30 seconds, causing their attacks to have a high chance to deal holy damage. And this will turn into Autumn after use. So let's we'll grab one of these and let's just kind of, I don't know, heal our ways through some things here. We got Judgment. We got our Crusader Strike. Let's do Blessing of Summer. That was a pretty cool looking animation. Let's get into our consecration. Don't expect a don't expect a beautiful rotation from me at the moment. Okay, so this now has changed to Blessing of Autumn. Bless an ally for 30 seconds, causing their cooldowns to recover 50% faster. And this is going to turn into Winter after use. Okay, so let's go ahead. I feel like I'm just like wasting my holy power here because I don't need to heal myself. So that makes me want to grab Shield of the Righteous and just throw it on here to use as a spender. Shield of the Righteous. All right, so we got Blessing of Autumn. So now if we were to like Avenging Wrath, we should have faster cooldown recovery. Alright, so this turn to Winter. Blesses an ally for 30 seconds. Their attacks deal 43 frost damage and reduce enemies' movement speed by 3% and attack speed by 1%, stacking 10 times. Okay, so a very small amount of frost damage, but more importantly, up to 30% movement speed reduction and 10% attack speed reduction. All right, so let's do this. So we can see the stacks coming up here. Every single attack and things that we're doing here, we're getting up to 5 stacks. Oh, we got some lag now. Yep, some super lag. Just gonna keep pushing buttons. Okay, we definitely had lag there. We didn't get to see the stacks stack up past 5 just because of the lag. But that seemed okay. I think the attack speed reduction is pretty nice. And then Blessing of Spring is the last one. Blesses an ally for 30 seconds, increasing their healing done and healing received by 20%, and it turns into Summer after use. So maybe for this one, we are just kind of waiting until we want to heal something. And then now, let's see, do we have Word of Glory on here? Yeah, we do right there. Okay. So it costs 3 holy power. So let's generate one, cast this on ourselves. Word of Glory for 4,800. That's actually a fairly significant amount of healing. Actually, with the level squish and everything, 4,800 is pretty legit. So yeah, I mean, even out in open world content, Holy Paladin feeling pretty good. Lots of buttons to push when you're attacking. I think I really like the fact that, you know, you've got your Holy Shock, Judgment, and Crusader Strike kind of like core rotation there, where you're gonna Holy Shock something and then you can judge it, which is gonna make it take increased. Well, okay, you judge first, and then you can Holy Shock or Crusader Strike. But you're generating holy power in that way. And then if you don't need to heal, because you may not if you're out there, you know, by yourself, you can just slam into Shield of the Righteous and do a little bit of extra damage and get some armor and make it so that you have to heal yourself even less. And then on top of that, all paladins have the Hammer of Wrath execute ability now. So that feels pretty good when you're finishing up stuff as a holy paladin out there too. So it's kind of like you go through your rotation a couple times with your Holy Shock, Crusader Strike, Judgment, throw in some Shields of the Righteous, you know, do that once, maybe twice, and then you're ready for a Hammer of Wrath execute, and you can move on to the next target. And then if you do happen to need to heal, then you can just throw out your Word of Glory for a nice single target heal on yourself. So that seems pretty good. I like it quite a bit. As far as the Covenant ability goes, I think it's interesting. I think it's unique. It's not better than throwing 5 shields at the same time. It's just not. I think the 5 shield throw is like the coolest ability, hands down, that I've seen in Shadowlands. It's definitely my favorite. So would I take this? No. Not over that one, but I might take it. Yeah, I definitely don't think that it's boring or not interesting. So I think it lends to a unique playstyle. I do like these kind of like abilities or buffs or whatever that make you. It's kind of like roll the bones on a rogue, right? When you're playing on Outlaw Rogue and you roll the bones, you get random buffs, and what you get kind of changes what you do over the duration of those buffs, right? Do you between the eyes for a big powerful crit, or do you try to spam and spend a bunch of combo points? You know, what are you doing? And I like that aspect of like you roll and you get a random buff, and this is kind of like that, except you know what you're getting when you come up. So I think like getting that 30-second ability, that blessing, putting it on something, you know, like what the next one is coming up. What the next one coming up is going to be, and you're already thinking about, you know, like who am I going to cast it on? When am I going to cast it? When's the best moment to use it? Like, I think it adds some interesting decision making to your gameplay, and also just the timing of having those. Maybe you just throw a blessing out because you really want the next one. I don't know. I think it's an interesting ability. It's just not throwing 5 shields at once. So. Have you done Vengeance Demon Hunter? Yes. I have done Vengeance Demon Hunter already. That's up on the channel. You can go check it out now. I did Demon Hunter and something else. I don't remember what the other one was. Oh, Druid. It was Demon Hunter and Druid, because I had 6 specializations to cover. And so 2 and 4. That's what I did. What is Holy Mastery? So Holy Mastery is the one that has your proximity heal change. So increases healing done by up to 25% or whatever your mastery is, based on the proximity of your target. All right, so that is the Mage and the Paladin specializations covered. After checking everything out, I am definitely still listing Prot Paladin as my #1 choice for my personal main in Shadowlands right now. I've got, I think, half the classes left to check out in these sort of deep dive situations. And I don't know, we'll see if any of them can come close after the deep dive. I'm not sure if they'll be able to, because I literally like all 3 specializations for Paladin, like quite a bit. So that being said, I did set up a interesting little board here. If you guys want to check this out and keep tabs on my personal opinions on everything, check out the link here. This is a link to a Trello board. And I've kind of got the class specializations in there ranked based on how much I personally am interested in them. Please don't take this as like a power ranking. It's definitely not. It's, you know, there are plenty of classes and specializations that are still good. I'm just personally not interested in them, or maybe I've played them so much that, you know, I want to change a pace, so I'm playing something different. But that might be interesting to a few people, so feel free to check that out if you want. While you're here, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. If you're liking these streams, we're going to be back for I'm going to be back for another class deep dive around the same time tomorrow. Unless something goes wrong. And I think, let's pop out real quick. Let me look at what I still have left to cover. All right, so let's go create a character. So I have, up to this point, I've done Hunter, Mage, Paladin, Druid, Shaman, and Demon Hunter. So I still have Warrior, Rogue, Priest, Warlock, Monk, and Death Knight left. So yeah, I do have 6 classes left. That's going to be another 3 deep dive live streams. I'm doing 2 per stream. So next one I'm going to be doing Rogue, and I think I'm going to be doing probably Death Knight. Yeah, we're going to do Rogue and Death Knight on the next one. I am taking requests. If you have a class or specialization that you want to queue up for the deep dives, there aren't too many of them left, but community vote does definitely determine what I do on the next one after this one. So if you want to throw something out there in the chat and let me know, we can kind of get some votes in for what class is going to be tackled next after tomorrow's deep dive stream. So I'm going to have Hunter, Priest, Warlock, and Monk left. So if you have a vote amongst those that you want to see sooner rather than later, make sure to mention it in the chat. Okay, so don't forget to check the description below. I've got a link to the channel Discord if you want to hop in there and hang out with us. And, you know, you can ask me questions in there or whatever you want to do. We're just kind of like building it up and chilling before Shadowlands. Also, there's a link to my Twitch channel. And I believe that after I end this stream here, I'm going to hop over to Twitch and I'm going to check out the new event that is in Legends of Runeterra, which is a card game that I really like to play based on the League of Legends universe. So if that interests you at all, you can follow me over to Twitch and check that out. Their new event is the Spirit Blossom event, and it looks pretty sweet. So Murphy says Lock and Warrior. Do we have any other votes? We just need one more vote. And we'll pick one of those. Warlock. That's 2 votes for Lock. So I think with that, we're going to be locked in for the next 3 streams. So we're going to do Rogue and Death Knight. Then the following stream will be Warlock and Monk. And then the stream after that will be Warrior and Priest. So that's going to be the link up. And it should be... We should be through these by Friday, I think. And after that, we're going to move along to some other stuff in the beta. But it'll be exciting to have these done. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm going to grab some food and stuff. And like I said, if you want to, you can meet me over on Twitch, where I'll be streaming some Legends of Runeterra and that new event. Lots of new, pretty stuff to look at, even if you're not, you don't know if you like the game or not. So thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you're new here and you want to subscribe, feel free to hit that button and stay tuned for more beta live streams for the Shadowlands expansion, as well as all the guides I'll have coming up after I get plenty of experience in the beta. All right, hope you're having fun in whatever it is that you're doing. Murphy, Cass, Lost Soul, Just Another Smith, OJW, and Jaden, Yeti. Who else? Anybody else I missed? Thanks for tuning into the stream. I appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you in the next video, stream, whatever it's going to be. All right.